I didn't do my intro. Lads, ladies, and non binary daisies. Um, so, next we're going to start reading the Chronicles of Narnia. If you have never read the Chronicles of Narnia, there are like 5 or 6 books, something like that. And if you have read them, then you will know that the order in which they came out is not the order that the story goes in. So I'm not reading them in published order, I'm reading them in story order. So yeah, the first book chronologically is The Magician's Nephew, which is the creation story behind Narnia, the place. And I have an anthology of them that I got from Goodwill, and it has them organized in like year order. So yeah, um, Magician's Nephew was published in 1955, and for Narnia it takes place at the year zero. I believe for the story it also takes place in like 1955 or like 1910, something like that. Somewhere early to mid 1900s. That's when it takes place. So there's a girl. Her name is Polly Plummer. She has siblings who are Mr. and Mrs. Ketterly, and they have a nephew, Diggory. Diggory is not allowed to go to the top floor. Polly and Diggory become friends. They play in the rafter, and they want to try and get to the empty house that is next to Diggory's house. They end up in his Uncle Andrew's study, and he calls his Uncle Andrew mad. Andrew lets Polly have a yellow ring and then she disappears. Um, Andrew's godmother, possibly a fairy, gave him a box that she made him promise to burn, which he didn't because he's a man. And he studied it and then he became a magician. And the box came from another world and it had dust in it. So Andrew wants Diggory to go get Polly with the yellow ring and take 2 green rings because the green rings will return them to where they are, and he wants them to tell him what it's like. So it's kind of terrible because he sort of like tricked Polly because she didn't know what was going to happen when she touched the rings. But Polly is his friend, so Diggory goes and does it. Uh, they go to an area it's not Narnia yet. It's like the between place, I guess. That's what I'm gonna call it. The between place. I'm sure it has a name, but I don't know if I wrote it down. The Wood. It's called the Wood. I like the between place better. So, um, it's like if you've seen the movies, then you know that time is kind of funny in Narnia because like at the end of that first movie, they're like grown adults, but then when they go back to their world, only a couple of minutes have passed, and like the guy walks in holding the baseball because time didn't really like move super far forward in the real world, and it's kind of like that in the between world as well. So Polly like forgets who she is for a second, but Diggory's able to help her remember. So they decide to, or at least Diggory wants to go exploring. Polly doesn't want to, but they can't get back without the rings. So yeah, the between place also has like pools to different worlds, and the yellow rings will always take you to those places. So they explore. There's magical Hoosier Whatsits. Uh, Diggory keeps Polly from going back home, even though she wants to, and he hits a giant magic bell that makes more magic happen. And there was a spell that was broken, and a queen got up. This queen explains how the world ended in her capital city, and the queen thought that the two of them were sent to get her. They weren't, but they tried to escape, and because the queen was touching Polly while she put on the green ring, the queen was brought back with them. Andrew's like really excited, which is annoying. Also, whenever they go to the place between worlds, she gets weaker and older for some reason. Uh, the narrator of the story is now calling her the witch. So that is the White Witch from the movie. She is the main antagonist of the first Narnia movie, the first Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So yeah, now they go to London, and the witch doesn't have any magic here because there's no magic in the real world, and I mean not magic like this, and Diggory wants to get the witch back to wherever the fuck she came from. And the witch is still incredibly strong, which is really weird. And she's making a right mess of things. And eventually, after a whole bunch of like shitty shit, because the queen and Andrew like took her out for some reason and wanted to like get her to love him, I guess. I don't know what Andrew's deal was. So, they're able to get the witch back to the place, but lots of people were touching her, including a lamppost. If you ever wondered where the lamppost in Narnia came from. But the witch, a horse, Uncle Andrew, a cabbie, and the children, and they all end up in nothing. They don't go to the place between worlds, they just end up like nowhere. Um, Andrew wanted to leave Polly, the cabbie, and the horse, whose name is Strawberry. He wanted to just leave them in the nothing and go home, but Diggory refuses because he has the rings. There's weird singing, and then a sun comes up, and then a lion comes out. The witch says that the magic here is awful. So then this nothing place is Narnia. Also, the witch still has the lamppost. She threw it at the lion, nothing happened, and now the lamppost is growing out of the ground. That's where the lamppost came from. Um, Andrew, who is a perfect imperialist, wants to conquer this place. Okay. The lion is literally singing Narnia into existence. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that this was Aslan, but yeah. So, walking trees, talking animals, divine waters, all of it, and like some of the animals Aslan makes able to talk, and a lot of the animals he makes not able to talk. But he tells the talking animals that you're not to treat these non-talking animals like any less than you. So yeah, if they do like treat them badly, then they'll lose the ability to talk. And Strawberry, the horse, she can, or he can also speak now. He doesn't remember his owner very well, and Uncle Andrew can't hear the singing. He just, or the animals talking. He just hears animal noises, and the animals also can't hear him speaking. They think he's a tree. Um, so the witch runs off. She's about in Narnia, and she's evil. Aslan calls Diggory the son of Adam, and Aslan will have to do that evil on his own, since Adam's race, like, Aslan will suffer the evil because, it's there. And since as Adam's race brought the evil, they have to fix it. So that's why humans have to fight the witch, even though there's literal magic happening. And the cabbie wants to stay, but his wife, Aslan brings his wife. Cool. So they're the first king and queen of Narnia, and the cabbie loses his Cockney accent because we can't have Cockney people. They have to talk proper. Whatever. Diggory would like to cure his mother, but Aslan is kind of ignoring him right now. Aslan sends him to get a seed out of a garden that will protect Narnia from the witch for a time. So Strawberry gets wings, and now he's called Fledge. The cabbie's wife is called Queen Helen, sorry. Polly also goes with Diggory. The witch finds them and tries to tempt Diggory into bringing the fruit to his mother, but why would the witch care? That's his reasoning, so he doesn't. The cabbie is now called King Frank. I'm not completely sure why Andrew can't hear them, and I don't know who he's supposed to be in the metaphor. I think he just doesn't like. I don't know, because like we've never really had like an adult who wasn't born in Narnia come to Narnia. So I don't know if it's just the fact that he's like a grown man, because the king and queen can hear Aslan just fine. So I don't know what's going on. But also the entire world is not Narnia. This particular land is called Narnia, but there are other things like beyond the mountains and across like the oceans. This particular area is just so happens to be Narnia. Um, yeah. So then Aslan also lets Diggory take an apple to his ailing mother to fix her, and the magic rings need to be buried. And Aslan can bring people to Narnia, so he also is free to let them leave. And when they leave, everything is as it was before the witch caused all the chaos. Also, the lady ate the youth apple, and Yeah. The lantern waste is the forest with the lantern. So, yeah. Uh, Andrew, in his older age, never tried magic again, and he grew less selfish, which was nice. Um, it was a cute book. I don't know that I've ever read a story that's like both first person and also second person, because the narrator, I think, is someone in the story, or like he's been told the story by Diggory. So it is kind of also in first person, but then also like it's in second person because he's addressing us as well. But at the same time, it's also in third person. I don't know if the narrator is the same narrator as in the other books. I suppose we'll find out. And because the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the next book. So, at least chronologically. And yeah. Um, Also, in case you weren't picking up on it, the book is a metaphor for Christianity. Because, like, Aslan is God. He creates the world. He gives the animals the ability to talk. He decides who leads. There's the son of Adam and son of Eve, that whole deal. Um, Fucking the witch, like, trying to tempt the child to take an apple, like a snake. The apple symbolism, it's a metaphor for Christianity. Um, I don't think that's bad necessarily, because like he doesn't just like speak the world into existence, he sings it into existence, which is cool. The soundtrack for the Narnia movies is fantastic. um but yeah, uh yeah, the children are just like added fluff, and I don't know if it was like on purpose, but like when you are a Christian who isn't necessarily aware of other ways of like the world being created, then it's just a really easy way to form a creation story. So, yeah. Um so I'm also not entirely sure if that was intentional, only due to the fact that like in at the actual Bibles, I think all versions of them, Santa is somewhere in there if you try really hard, but then like all things are in the Bible if you try really hard. And I know that Santa is in Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. I don't know if he's in the book yet, but I suppose I'm going to find out. And yeah. Uh Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. Not Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. The Magician's Nephew is actually the top book on the list. So that's cool. It was cute. I liked it. Yeah.